So the thing is, I wanted to bring up is everything about the game right now, and I have gone out of my way. I've gone out of my way to stay. I said this before because last season I was negative Nancy the whole year. I was like, yeah, this game sucks the whole year long, and it didn't help me any. It didn't help anything. So this year I have made a big effort to try to stay as positive as I can. And I've kept all of the negativity to myself as far as this goes. I've been going out of my way to try to find the most positive aspects of the game and focus on those. And with the gameplay being where it's at, I see there's a lot of things that I feel like you can focus on in FC Mobile and stay positive. For me, the gameplay is fantastic. I know there's some people that have complaints about the gameplay, and I think no matter what you do at any given time, there is always going to be some areas of the game that could be improved. But it's a video game, and having the controls that we have and being able to do the things that we can with advanced passing and, the power shots and all of the different things that they've changed with gameplay, I feel like it is at its top. It has never been this high in a mobile football game for the entire FIFA Mobile franchise and everything. This is the best the gameplay has ever been, in my opinion. I know we still have some cheating issues right now in Division Rivals, and you look at the leaderboards and it's obvious that people are cheating and they're not doing anything about it. That's frustrating, but I don't really fight for top in Division Rivals unless I have to. It's not why I play the game, so it doesn't affect me, so I'm not really focused on it. But with this season, if you look at it on paper and you say, okay, right now we haven't been playing, but September 26th, so we're about a month and a half in. We've got the grindable UCL tournament, which gives you rewards and players, and there's stuff there that is something you can do all the time. It's all AI matches. It's a lot of gameplay. It is there. That is your main level of base content. So that is a big positive. Now we're talking about on paper, not in execution, but if you think about the game with where we're at right now, we have UCL tournament. We have the big 8-week-long UCL program, which incorporates lots of daily matches. There's skill games. There's a challenge mode that you can play every single day. There are a lot of players involved in it. There are exchanges. They have just added the universal rank players to the game, which, for all intents and purposes, have given us a fix to the ranking problem. There are exchanges with those. There are quests with those and the ability to pull them in. We also have the mystery signings came back to the game from last year. We have the Liberatory event that is still in there, which was in essence like a mini event, but it's much more than a mini event. And they have a Day of the Dead promo that is running at the same time. So if you look at all of that on paper, it sounds like there is a ton going on. That is a fantastic drive for a game that has great gameplay right now. So all of that sounds like there is a lot going on, and we should be very happy on paper. But the problem is, with all of this stuff that they keep adding, the execution of what they're bringing isn't there. It's like, okay, they say, okay, we're gonna release mystery signings, and we're gonna bring it back. People loved it and everything. It was all fantastic, so let's bring it back. And you're like, great, that's great. We loved it. It was like exciting to kind of like see what it is. But you can, there's no mystery. You can unlock the player the very first day you start. Like it's right there, and then you get it and you have to wait a week. There's no mystery. I mean, even Shaggy and Scooby-Doo are pissed. There's nothing about it that is mysterious. It is just another free player. The progression in OVR this season is not near as high as it was last year. So that's a positive. That gives added quality to the players that we've already had. But the problem was the initial release of the game released high OVR players. So those higher OVR players that we got right out of the onset and have been working with for the last 6 weeks are higher OVR than the stuff being released now. So everything that's coming into the game really has no additive value to what we already have because of training caps and the system that we're in right now. The highest OVR player in each position is still the best way to go because they're capping player progression, but they're not capping. They're capping individual player progression, player as in players in the game. They're capping it. So when they release an 88, regardless of whether or not you want that 88 will never be higher than an 89. That 88 will never be higher than a 90. And now that we have universal rank players,
says that the exchanges are unrealistic and extremely expensive. We also need a rank transfer option.
See, I don't agree with that. I think the exchanges are worth it for when you look at what you're getting. It's a universal player. So in essence, if you're grabbing a Mascherano universal rank player, he's a 99 OVR player. It's a 99 because it works on anything from a 90 to a 99. So you don't want to use any of them now. You want to hold on to them. Their value will come at the back end. The Dudecs are the most valuable ones right now because they're working for 89s to give them a bump through. So when you have untradeable 89s, but it still wouldn't even use the Dudecs. We're too early in the season to use the universal rank players. We're just collecting them right now. You shouldn't use any of them, just collect them. But with these players that are coming in, because there's a limit to the rank ability and how high you're able to take any of them, it's not really adding anything. So the players that are being released from the events are all too low in OVR to bring additive value to players' teams, because most people hit 90, 91, 92 out of the stuff that were released at the beginning of the season. So none of this stuff is increasing their quality. And then you can argue, well, if you train these guys and their stats go crazy, then you have a head-to-head team. But we're so early in, nobody wants to commit all of that training to players that have a half-life. And so it's like they're biting the hand that's feeding them in the process of the way they are releasing this slow progression in OVR because of the training caps. If they created an OVR cap and said, okay, here's how we're going to do this. Right now, the training cap is 98. Like, you cannot train a player past 98, but you could take a 75 and train them to a 98. Their stats might not increase after 5 OVRs, but you could continue to rank and train those players. Then we could create ultimate teams, we could create theme teams, and that every player in the game would have a set value because you could train everybody and keep moving forward. The reason they don't want to do that is that requires you to have a reset. And the way they're trying to do this is to build a game that is self-sustained with no resets. So they're giving the players a minimal lifespan because of the training caps. And because of that minimal lifespan on the players, they're basically putting their greed of a self-sustaining game that requires very little development over our ability as players to develop theme squads and continue to play with players that we've used all the way through. And until we get them to understand that, nothing's really going to change. At the same time, they're releasing events that everybody's saying it, they're just rehashes. So like the UCL tournament on paper sounds like a fantastic thing. It's giving out rewards and you can overplay it all constantly. You can do it every day. It's a lot of AI matches. There's no skill games in it or anything. But the problem is that the rewards that we're getting from it aren't really valuable enough for the amount of effort it takes for you to grind it. And it's the same thing over and over every day. And if you're playing at a low enough quality, you just autoplay it anyway, but then that's the way it is with everything. The UCL program that's out right now is all autoplay. Pretty much everything in there, even challenge mode, is all autoplay. It is so simple for anyone with a 90 or higher team. Even I've got a completely rental squad right now with nobody in my squad of any value. I haven't bought anybody. I haven't done anything. It's just packed players, dirt cheap, minimal training just to be able to use it. And it's FC champion in managers mode, and everything is completely autoplay across all of the events. So it's more about logging in and pressing move on than anything right now. But when you look at the difference between everything that they're bringing to the game and how good the gameplay is, it's so frustrating because I feel like they're falling short in what we could have due to the lazy development. And I am 100% blaming Nexon for all of it because they're phoning in everything. The fact that mystery signings releases everything that you need to know on day one, and then you have to sit and wait for 6 days. The Zidane campaign is the same thing. It's an unplayable event other than one match every day, and then you wait and wait and wait and wait and then unlock it to play. But by the time the players that you're receiving from the event are so far behind the curve that they're not going to be usable. Nobody wants the Zidane that you're going to be able to claim because a higher OVR version of him is already available in the game now, and by the time we get the one that we have, it's not going to be worth anything. It's just so frustrating. And the only real two big positives I have right now is there's a lot to do. Just a lot to do. And the gameplay is fantastic. The market, because they moved to a global setup, is actually working, and we're able to get sales. We're able to push sales. We're able to, move coins. 100 million coins in a matter of a couple of weeks is pretty simple if you know how to work it and you play the waves. But because there's no OVR progression in the season, and we have those training caps, it basically boils down to the only players that are moving or pushing standards are the best OVRs in the game. And I released that video 2 weeks ago and was stating what was going on with the best OVRs and what was being pushed. And it's kind of frustrating to see it because the one player I mentioned in the video on a global value is the left wing. The highest rated left wing in the game is Neymar. So Neymar is a fantastic example. He was released at the very beginning. He's still the highest OVR player in the squad, and his value continues to rise. When I made that video, I think he was at 18 mil, and I think right now, if I go to him, I think he's pushing 30 mil now. So if you bought a dozen of him at that time, you just made 100 million coins from that video. And it's because they haven't released anybody else that's of higher OVR. And because of that, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating. I don't know what EA is thinking. We need something better. I'm FinallyHeSleeps. Appreciate you guys. As long as you keep showing up, I'll keep making videos. Thanks for watching. If you haven't noticed, my YouTube channel has expanded. Subscribe here for EA Sports FC related content, but make sure you check out my other channels as well for Raid Shadow Legends, everything automotive over at Gearheads, and then check out my Cringeworthy series for a few laughs. Subscribe links are literally right over there.